Okay, Darren here. The good news and the bad news. The good news is you guys were right. The bad news is that I was wrong. So I posted 3 videos. It was all about DA polishers and paint correction, and I stand corrected. The simple answer is I was wrong. So in the attempt to forever push myself and challenge myself, and you guys, this is where you come in, because a lot of you helped me do that. You call me on the carpet, you challenge me, whatever. It's like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can prove myself wrong, because I had already proven to myself that I felt that the DA polisher, and as a sidebar, there's 2 types of DAs. There's what's called random orbital and forced rotation. I'll get to that in a moment. So I had proven in the past that the DA buffer polisher was ineffective at true paint correction and removing sanding marks, because I had tried it. But that's where it gets very frustrating in trying to create these videos and try to simplify it. And I get sucked into that abyss like so many of us do in society. And what I've come to conclude is that things that should be simplified are made complicated. Things that are very complex tend to be oversimplified. So we have it reversed. And so that's where I started thinking to myself, wait a minute, what if last time or the previous times when I attempted to remove sanding marks and do paint correction, what if I was using products and tools or materials that were not up to speed? No pun intended. So what I decided to do is to do some color sanding with 3000 grit. Now, just to give you another little sidebar, 3000 grit is kind of new, and new is relative. New meaning a day new or 10 years new. So in my world, because I've been in the industry as long as I have, over 25 years, 3000 grit didn't even exist. Like 2000 grit was extreme. You really had to search for 2000 grit. Mostly what we were doing is sanding with 800 to 1200, sometimes 1500 grit. And that's where you had to go to a wool pad and a rotary high-speed polisher. Well, like every else in the world, technology, chemical engineering, everything makes advances. And that's the good news for us consumers, is life gets better. It also gets more complicated. Enter the world of smartphones and computers and technology. Anyhow, so I digress. So the point is I wanted to challenge myself and prove myself wrong in behalf of you guys and say, wait a minute, have I reached conclusions that are less relevant today based on new technology and so forth? So that's where I realized, wait a minute, 3000 grit exists. Now I have no idea what you guys are using, and these people that challenged me and said, Darren, you got your head up your butt, you don't know what you're talking about. I used a DA. I had some guy from back east, a Ralph, sorry Ralph, I don't remember your name. Anyhow, we exchanged notes. He's only been in the business like 3-something years, and he says he does all his paint correction with a forced rotation flex polisher 3401. Forced rotation. And it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. He told me the products he used. It's like, you know what? And then along with trying to prove myself wrong, it's like, you know what? I'm going to sand with 3000 grit, because I've tried it with 1200 grit, and it just was taking forever. And so it's at one level, I knew I could get to the end result. But because it was taking so long to do it, I thought, well, that's just, it's not effective use of time. You're not being what's called efficient. And efficiency means more dollars in your pocket, because the quicker you can be with anything, the more efficient you can be, which is different than being effective. The more efficient, the quicker you can get from point A to point B, the more money you're going to make per hour. And most of us, that's our goal, is to make more, not less. So my simple answer is I was wrong. So if you want to learn a little bit more, check out part 2. There may even be a part 3, because I'm just so tired of editing these long videos, and I'm trying to break it down into segments. And so if I engage you enough in this one, I guess you'll tune into the second one. So I stand corrected. The DA buffer Yes, I was able to remove some sanding marks. Did it take me longer than had I used a rotary polisher? Absolutely. But it works. I made it work. I had to use 3000 grit. I had to use the most firm, aggressive foam pad I could find. And I had to use a very aggressive compound by Misurna, and I'll show you those in the next video. So, Darren stands corrected, and all you guys can take a moment and do the victory dance wherever you're watching this. So, see you in round 2 and possibly round 3.